Today we need to talk about apparently RM breaking a rule during a show. We need to get into Taeyang's new song and what that is about. And then we have RM also addressing something a little sad and telling the truth about what is going on. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hate it or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. Grab your Dumplings, Tastefully mug merch, and let's go. The first thing that we need to talk about is a little sad, but RM recently had a dog, and it's someone that he definitely does not talk about often. There's been a few photos here and there, and the dog is really cute. ARMYs call him Mani, as in rap Mani, and we were first exposed to his dog back in the debut days where BTS had their own reality show. This is during Bangtan Subs, and we got to see the very cute and fun interaction RM had with his dog, and people just fell in love with the dog. Flash forward a little bit more, we started to see posts of the dog wearing a Squid Game merch shirt, and then even in February of 2021, the BTS Twitter account posted the dog's 8th birthday. Recently on August 12th, RM did a live stream with ARMY, and I guess a lot of ARMYs could tell that he was down and a bit sad. Of course, ARMYs quickly asked if he was okay, and RM responded saying that he was finally going to tell the truth, and something that he doesn't talk about often, and it's that Mani had crossed the Rainbow Bridge, insinuating that Mani had passed. This is very tough. I think I don't have to explain why a dog's death is very upsetting and very abrupt. It's one of the reasons why I just won't get a pet, because I cannot deal with that. I just know I will literally shatter. And RM continued to talk about how the family is having a tough time dealing with this, and then RM also mentioned that he never really talks about Mani a lot. Mani really didn't stay with RM that much, but just mostly RM's family, so RM mentioned that was particularly tough on the family. Of course, once the stream ended, ARMY sent their condolences and even also made sure to make a painting of RM and Mani to honor the dog and something for RM to look at, as I'm sure it will make him smile. Having a pet for BTS members is a very odd situation, and it's not the same as you and I having a pet. Obviously, idols like BTS travel a lot, so if they were to raise a dog themselves without the support of family, the dog would have a miserable life traveling all the time. I mean, traveling all the time is quite tough even for humans. Imagine for a dog where they have to be on a plane or travel in cages, or worse than that, they don't even understand why they're traveling so much. And so for most idols, they have all this love and desire for a pet, but it's just something they can't have. And if they do have a pet, they won't be able to support the pet or spend much time with them, which I am sure is something that maybe RM regrets and feels sad about. A reason why RM or any BTS member may not want to share this or even share something like a relationship publicly is because what if the pet dies or the relationship ends? It's very hard to grieve once, but to grieve twice, because you have to then grieve with the fandom once it's said publicly and then deal with the fandom's emotions. It's very tough. And then what if you're asked about your dog or relationship during a fan meet or when the idols run into a fan? That is tough. You have to relive that over and over again. Whereas people like you and me can have a moment where you can get away from that. Now, of course, we can understand anyone not wanting to share moments like this because of the reasons I just mentioned. But if you're bummed about them keeping such secrets, there's definitely some things they do to make up for it, and quite hilarious things. There has been a concert moment that has resurfaced and gone viral again, and it's absolutely hilarious. One thing that a lot of Koreans and K-pop stars understand is that certain countries or certain areas in which they need to be more sensitive about what they do. So you never want to go into someone else's house and just follow your own rules. I feel like a lot of American stars follow this idea that they will go into an area and expect the area to follow the American rules, as of course it makes more sense for the guests to follow that country's customs. So BTS as a group was doing a concert in Saudi Arabia. This is definitely a more conservative area, and you definitely need to be more aware or careful about exposing yourself there. So things like in the performance for Fake Love, Jungkook pulls his shirt up to show his abs. That cannot happen. Things like hip thrusts or whatever cannot happen. Too sexual, right? During one of BTS's songs called Bapse, usually J-Hope dances very aggressively and does a hip thrust for a specific part. For this concert, he decided to change it and just do some cute hearts, and it's very cute. Well, a bit of an error occurred when RM did his dance and actually did a hip thrust by accident. This is hilarious, and many ARMYs freaked out. Of course, this is okay because because there was an effort to follow the rules of that area. However, RM and the rest of the members are human beings, and when you literally perform that song 50 times in 1 year a certain way, you might forget some of the changes and exceptions that might need to be made for that one show. So many people believed that he had just accidentally slipped into old habits there. It's definitely not a big deal, and usually BTS is pretty good when it comes to changes. However, I do think the boys all develop this autopilot situation when they're on stage and just perform. Their bodies and voices often remember what to do, and they don't really think about it too much. It's a way where their movements will come more naturally and the music just takes control of them. That also means they will forget any changes that are made maybe the night before. Others were saying that RM likely did not care and just decided to do it anyway, and there's a chance of this, but I really think he just slipped into old habits. While the BTS boys are usually very much aware of people in the front row, what is going on stage, all of that, they do probably just zone out at times. This is why when I see people think that a dancer or singer is on stage acting overtly sexual, they're entirely aware, or better yet, that the performer is super horny in that moment. Because I don't think they are. This is something that they rehearsed, and quite honestly, with the lights, sweating, and with the pressure of everyone looking, just everything, nothing about that moment is sexy. I think the boys have been very good at expressing themselves lately, and talking a lot more about their struggles makes us sympathize with them. Now, when people go to insult RM or BTS, we kind of defend him because we might think we know what he's going through, and sometimes we're right. I am loving specifically Taeyang's new drops lately. He's been releasing his music with no promotion, no teaser, and he's just been dropping them. He announced his solo album, and people have been very excited to hear the sound that has been dropping in a more full album. I do react to both Love Me Again and Rainy Days over on Patreon. If you would like to join the Dumpling community in fangirling and having fun, I'll link the Patreon in the description. We currently have a $1 tier with limited spots, so I hope to see you there. These releases have been very controversial. The songs have been doing well, I think, but people were upset that HYBE has not been pushing these songs the same way they have been pushing out Jungkook, and specifically saying that Taeyang is HYBE's least favorite, and Jungkook has been taking the budget. Basically, HYBE has been putting money behind Jungkook's music video and promoting it as an ad, and they're not doing it with Taeyang. And this is silly to say because this is not it. This is not done. HYBE also did not put ads into other members' promotions as well. This is because Jungkook's song was the only one that was more catered to a full American release, which was going to follow American promotion styles. People love to say that Taeyang has been getting all this mistreatment, and even some saying that Taeyang is affected by the mistreatment, and I want to say that you have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. Taeyang is likely sitting at these board meetings talking about how he wants to promote his songs and solo albums. Taeyang is not releasing, it seems, a pop album. Naturally, the album would get less views. Jazz or slower music is not everyone's cup of tea, and are probably not songs that could be played at a club, and people love using upbeat music as TikTok audio rather than slower songs. So it just makes sense why the streams and views could be lower. Taeyang also probably knows this already, and thus his promotion style has actually been completely different from everyone else's. He has been doing shows, he has been doing brand endorsements and campaigns. He has not done a teaser or trailer for his videos. This is likely his decision. He likely wanted to drop something and surprise everyone, and he did. But I'm really guessing that this is not his official music video drop. He has a golden card that he is holding onto, and I think that will be huge. Rainy Days, which was his latest drop, is not a flop. People were saying that the views are lower and that ARMYs always like to ignore V. V is not being ignored. As much as people don't like to admit it, artists and anyone that releases content, the majority of the views are not coming from fans. They're coming from new people and people who have not heard of it yet. If the majority of the views are coming from just fans, the song has not done well, meaning Taeyang's songs have probably reached their target demo, and Taeyang's goal is likely to create art, and he cares less about being #1 on the Billboard. Otherwise, he would be dropping pop songs. The BTS members know how to make hits. This is their time to make what they want to make, and the art they never get a chance to make. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.